Western Conference second round. What is this? Second round playoffs, or do you call this like the Western Conference semifinals? I don't know. How, is that a fancy way of just calling it the second round?
Yeah, I I would say for a second round because the
Second
first
round?
round,
Mhm.
what are they? Are they
It's just first round.
quarterfinals?
It's just first round, I
Like
think,
it's
isn't
just
it?
first
It's just
round.
called
Yeah,
first
this is the
round.
second round.
But
Yeah.
technically, this is the conference semi-finals, and the Nuggets and the Suns now tied 2-2. And we obviously messaged each other a few days ago, and I think you were feeling a bit down. You were like, you guys might be down a 3-0 hole, maybe even talking about a sweep potentially. And then Devin Booker showed up, and KD came with him. And last two wins, they both scored 30 plus. They both scored 30 plus, and KD took more shots than Devin Booker. I don't know. Maybe they're listening to our podcast here and getting some tips from us, huh? Because isn't that exactly the winning formula that I outlined for the Phoenix Suns? I said that you guys, if you were going to win this series, you would need both of these players to drop 30. And that has happened now in the last two games. The big question now is that can you continue that going back to obviously Denver in game five? And I don't know. I don't know. I guess, you guys will definitely continue to shoot. Um, and will the Nuggets be able to make the adjustment? I think that's a real tough one here. I think, they definitely need to, and I think the key here though is that you only need to shut down one of these two players. Okay, so do you throw double teams at KD and do you try and make Book score 50? Yeah, because you'd rather go, hey, Booker get 50 and KD get 20, all right, versus that 30-30 balance. I think, and that sounds like a crazy statement because 50 and 20 is 70. That's more points. Okay, but I think that it's still more dangerous that if you let KD and you let Devin Booker get 30 and 30 as a 60 point total, that's more dangerous because now you got both players that are getting in the groove of the game and going off. And I think the Nuggets need to make that adjustment. I obviously picked them to get the series done. I think it was in six or seven. I'm going to stick with them, but look, it's definitely become an interesting series now.
Yeah, so I think really, I guess a footnote for why you don't overreact after the first two games, because what's essentially happened now after four games is the home team did what they were supposed to do.
Mm.
And it is now a game, of best of three. And Phoenix will have to win in Denver. I would like to believe that they will win game five. I think they've got a lot of momentum going into that. There's a different lineup now. So Torrey Craig's been moved away from. You've got Terrence Ross and TJ Warren all of a sudden seeing minutes. Shamet came alive today. But I really like what you're saying about Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, who gets more shots? What do you let them respectively do? It was game three where the defensive scheme was to let Booker do what he does, but really disrupt what KD wanted to do. And KD had a very poor shooting efficiency night. In fact, the whole series is down on efficiency. But the difference between Kevin Durant and most other scorers is he still somehow gets 30. Whether or not it's a clean or a messy or an efficient or inefficient, he still gives you 30. So not not hoping this, but if Denver was to do something, I actually think you force Devin Booker into the difficult situations and you make him have the bad shooting night and let KD cook. Because Devin Booker right now is just flames out. I think averaging 36, 37 points on ridiculous shooting over these last couple of games. I think you want him to slow down and you hope that KD will still do what he's been doing, but obviously not really stretch it beyond 40 points. Phoenix right now are in an interesting position because we've lost Chris Paul after the first two games and we've had success. And I wonder if this is a beneficiary of, well, lineups have to change because we've got an injury and all of a sudden we uncover new things. But our lineup is different in the last two games than it was in the first two. So, Cam Payne obviously is back running the offense, has a different impact. Devin Booker doing more of the ball handling duties. I would love to unpack the Suns, till the cows come home. But I think this is a series in which we know that the four players on the respective teams, Jamal Murray, Jokic, Durant, Booker, they're going to have big games, and then it's the pieces around them or what they do. I do worry that Denver being at home for two more games, they could just naturally outlast the Suns because the Suns bench had that 4 point performance. We might see that again in game five. But I think I think there's momentum. I think momentum is a really real thing. The pressure is on Denver. I think there is layers of pressure here where Phoenix are playing with house money. They're the fourth seed. Denver's the one seed. Kevin Durant only just got added to the team. He was injured for a while. They're still gelling. All of this narrative is if Phoenix didn't make this work, it's unfortunate. They were definitely within striking distance, but they have next year. That was a take that I made a while ago. Denver, this is Jokic's year, right? Didn't worry about MVP, took the end of the season off just to coast because they had the 1 seed. They really do need to lock this up. And I feel like Phoenix is playing with house money. It's a great spot to be in. Devin Booker's looking great. I'm excited. Suns in 6. I'd say Suns in 5, but that's not physically possible. So Suns in 6.
I think when CP3 went down for the rest of the series, we're presuming for the rest of the series, I think at least, you guys got to get our jail-free card there in the sense that, well, if you guys didn't win, it was because CP3 got injured and things like that. But that said, I don't think your window is as open as you sort of optimistically take here. Next season round, KD's going to be a year older too. CP3 continues to go, age, sort of, poorly to an extent. He's not effective as he used to be, and understandably. And so I think this year you guys want to play with this urgency that Booker has sort of brought to the table, and we get the job done. That's going to be the key. And I guess we're obviously looking at Game 5 now in 2 days' time, I think. Which leaves us to jump across to the Warriors and the Lakers series here. 2-1 now to the Lakers. It's been last 2 games a bit of a blowout, I think, both ways. And Warriors are saying they got to just bounce back now, get this one Game 4, go back to home court advantage, and go back to Game 5 at their home. But I think there's probably definitely some concern here because they don't seem to be clicking. They don't seem to be clicking in that sort of sense where they have the consistency needed to go all the way. And this sort of pains me to say because I picked them to go all the way. And I guess I'm not changing that pick necessarily, but this Game 4 is a game they have to win. It's that sort of, and you hear it all the time in the playoffs right now, we got to treat this game like a Game 7. So here we are at Game 4. They got to treat this game like a Game 7. Yeah, because they can't go back to San Francisco down 3-1 against the Lakers here and think they're going to try and win 3 in a row. That's a huge hole. All right, considering they not very good on the road in that sort of sense, and go back to LA in Game 6 if that gets to that point. That so look, I don't know. I don't know what it is they need to do. Maybe you can throw something else on this topic here, but Curry obviously and Clay, they sort of having these alternating games, and you see it with these superstars. When you have alternating games, you win games, but it's not a consistent sort of winning sort of success. But when you get players that just be able to consistently put out the score lines that you expect, let's say Curry puts out 30, Clay puts out 25, they do it every single game. I think they're going to win more games that way than they sort of this topsy-turvy sort of scoring output from obviously Curry, Thompson, and obviously Jordan Poole's gone missing in action now.
So what is your pick? Just to make sure that we got that on record.
Warriors.
Warriors in 6?
I don't know. What did I pick them originally? I think I said 6 maybe. Let's go with 6.
Okay. So yeah, look, we were talking a little bit, I think, off camera about this, but the Warriors, no, I was talking about it in my Celtics take. The Warriors have that championship pedigree that you just don't want to rule them out. Even if they went down 3-1, there would be, like if you did a straw poll, people would confidently say they very well could come back from a 3-1 deficit. There is that belief, whether it's warranted this season or not. It's just that it's that history, right? They clearly can win games. They know what to do. They understand the urgency. When they say they're going to walk into Game 4 with that Game 7 mentality, you'd believe that, right? And Steph kind of proved that with Game 7 against the Kings. Like, I will score 50 if this is what it needs to be. And, there's a lot of factors here. So I think really interesting with the Lakers, AD, or, really what it should be called now, it's odd game AD. Every odd game, he plays well and they win. And every even game, he is awful and they don't win. It's really very simple. So they're getting into Game 4. So I think Golden State should win that quite comfortably. I think that's very easy. I think if you're a Warriors fan, the one thing you worry about here is, why is LeBron not the one beating us? So LeBron's stat line in any game would probably not earn him the MVP. In fact, the last game I can think that LeBron really won it was, I think, Game 4 against Memphis. So there is definitely I guess, cause for concern here because D'Angelo Russell is cooking against them. Rui is, clearly the greatest trade of all time in Lakers history, at least. The Lakers are figuring this out, and they're a hard team to read. They're a hard team to read because we haven't had a lot of time on them, but it just is working very well. I saw a really interesting stat. You'll like this one. They now have officially the same amount of wins post the Westbrook trade as they did pre the Westbrook trade. And obviously, the big difference there is they had about 50 something games to get the 25 wins originally, and they've managed to achieve that feat in about 35. So they are clearly a better team post the Westbrook trade. Not that anyone couldn't tell you that. It's going to be an interesting series. It's going to be an interesting
I
series.
feel like you're changing your pick the Lakers here. Are you changing your pick the Lakers here?
Look, in a perfect scenario, based off all my Lakers hate, it would be lovely if Phoenix progresses, Lakers progress, and then we are the ones that knock them out, and I can officially die on that hill. But no, I'm going to stay steady here. We haven't seen the 4 games from this series, so it would be a bit premature to say I clearly think Lakers are going to run away when they are on a 2-1 advantage. I think Warriors may ring off the same thing they've done several times. They might win 2 or 3 straight now. I sincerely feel like they're able to do that, so I'm going to still say Warriors in 6.
This is Two Guys with Spare Time. I'm Faz, this is Nick. You're probably a basketball fan like us, so hopefully you can throw us an assist and giving our video a like and subscribing to our channel.
And if you got thoughts, feelings, or even some suggestions, please put them down in the comment section below. And thank you for using your spare time to watch us in our spare time.